Hey guys, my name is Wildkard. Welcome back to my channel. Springboks versus Wales. One of the Welsh supporters may have cost Wales this game. So at one point in the second half, Wales was kind of like in control of the game, and they were looking like they were gonna score a try against the Springboks. Liam Williams, returning from his injury, was on the wing with about 15 minutes to go, and one of the Welsh supporters ran onto the field and he got tackled by the security guards, and they were just like right in front of where Liam Williams was. So Williams had to catch the ball in like this awkward position, and he had to kind of like tiptoe around the supporter a little bit, and he wasn't able to run full speed into the try line, and he wasn't able to score a try. And he was furious, absolutely furious after that. And like everybody in the Millennium Stadium was booing this guy. What is he thinking? He did it during the Welsh attack. Like, if he had done it to, like, I don't know, mess up the Springboks, maybe he would have made some, he screwed up his own team. He decided to run onto the field when Wales was about to score. Oh my god. Oh, I think they need some protective custody on this guy, because his life might be in danger. His life could be in danger from that one. And wow, this game, Wales really bought it. This is the Triple Crown winner. This is the Wales of, old Grand Slam form. This was like Rugby World Cup quarterfinal replay, or actually semi-final replay. This was a super tough game. Unlike last week, this is like a full brand new Welsh team, like leaps and bounds better than what they were doing last week. And the Springboks really struggled to put this game away. And at one point, guys, literally, I was gonna cry. I thought I was gonna cry. Okay, there was one point in the second half. Handré Pollard was so poor this game. His kicking game was so bad. At one point in the second half, right? The Wales had a yellow card, and there was like 2 minutes left on the yellow card or something. And Springboks had a line out inside the Welsh 22, and basically the ball comes out, goes to Handré Pollard. He cross-field kicks it, and it ends up in the hands of the Welsh player, okay? Like, I kid you not, like, with a yellow card, and, like, you're inside the Welsh 22, or, like, just outside 22 when Handré got the ball, I literally thought I was gonna cry, dude. That was so bad, and I was just like, I couldn't believe it. There was so many bad kicks for Handré, and also Herschel Yangshi's box kicks was just tremendously bad. Like, some of the decision making was, questionable. But however, the reserves came on for the Springboks in the second half, really turned the games around. Elton Yangshi's much better at managing the gameplay. Like, literally, Handré Pollard, when he gets the ball, he has one thing that he knows how to do, is kick the ball, okay? There were like one time maybe where he did a grabber kick that kind of like paid off for the Springboks. But like, literally, that's all he does. He gets the ball, he crashed the run. He either like, crashed the ball himself, or he kicks it. Like, that's all he does. I don't know, like, one of you guys can tell me if, like, that's just baffling how he just doesn't know how to do anything else. And there was so many times where Springboks go for a line out, sets up a maul, and then Handré gets the ball back. He just like doesn't know what to do and just kicks it away. I'm just baffled by this, man. Like, literally, I don't know what's going on. But when Herschel when Elton Yangshi's came on and Cobus Reiner came on, much better directing the game. And also Francois Stein, my God, he's good. He gets the ball, he sees the problem, he has a huge boot, and he's a really good kicker. He just runs the ball. He runs hard, and he takes the ball, breaks into the advantage line every time. And then stupid idiots like Kandre, it's like, yeah, nice run, you just gained 20 meters. Watching me kick the ball away. So, like, literally, that's what happened the whole game. It was so frustrating to watch. And I just, yeah, I genuinely don't know what's going on there. And also, the Springboks maul has been just stifled by the Welsh defense. The Welsh maul defense was so damn good. I thought without Alan Wynne-Jones, Wales was gonna struggle in the lineouts. They didn't. So all props to the Welsh. The maul only worked once, and that one time the Springboks scored a try, and that was the desperately needed try in the, I think, on the 70th minute or 68th minute, where the Springboks finally able to, 72nd minute, finally able to pull ahead of Wales after being behind the whole game. And also, it was pretty good to see the Big Daddy himself, Jacko Johan, in the coaching box. And by the way, if you're like, Rassi Erasmus is the director of rugby of South Africa, he's not a coach. You know he's coaching, because every time the camera cuts to him, he's screaming into the walkie-talkie, and like Jackson sitting next to him, or just like quietly sitting next to him, like watching the game, right? And then Erasmus was just sitting there like screaming into the walkie-talkie. So he's clearly coaching. He's clearly the coach. Okay, I don't care what you say. He's clearly the coach. And yeah, but it's good to see the most overpaid water boy back in the coaching box where he belongs. And yeah, this was just a game of kicking game all game. Dan Bigger's kicking has been pretty, like 100%, I'm pretty sure he was. And Handré Pollard was also at 100%. I think it was 100% kicking for both teams, actually. Let's have a look at the stats. Yeah, kicking, where is it? Yeah, 100% for both teams. So, actually, one conversion was missed by Elton Yenshis from the sideline, and that's about it. So the Springboks, overall, goal kicking was really good. Francois Stein slotted a 55-meter penalty kick in the rain, in the wet conditions. That was impressive, right? And, oh god, Stang is so good. He came on the field early as well, and just sublime game from Francois Stein. This, overall, the game stats, let's have a look. Run meters, 136, 281. Not much running, wet conditions. This was an aerial battle. A really good battle for Reece Zammit was really good under the high ball, and also I think it was Mapimpi was really good on the high ball for the Springboks. Turnovers conceded, 9 for the Wales, 11 for the Springboks. Like really close in halftime as well. So both teams were pretty much neck to neck at halftime, with Wales slightly ahead at halftime point. Basically, tackles made pretty much identical as well. 134 to Wales, 110 for the Springboks. 17 missed tackles to 12 for the Springboks. A little bit worse for the Welsh, but overall this is still like quite decent in terms of the what do you call it, missed tackle count. And overall kicks in bait play, 32 for the Springboks, 28 for the Welsh. And second half, especially towards the end, after Pollard came off the field, the kicking game got much better for the Springboks. And overall only one liner was lost to the Welsh team. I thought the Welsh was going to struggle without Alan Wynne-Jones against Itzebeth. Eben, water break. He has so many water breaks this game. Water break, Itzebeth. I thought he was going to struggle, but he did not. So all props to the Welsh. Scrum was, and also the scrum, the Springbok scrum was overwhelmingly dominant over the Welsh in both halves. So the front rowers from the Welsh team was really struggling without Wynne-Jones. I think without Wynne-Jones, Wales really was like just not quite there in the scrummaging at least. But there wasn't too many scrums despite the wet conditions. Penalties considered 15 to 14. One yellow card on both sides for like basically like technical penalties for like the repeated penalties inside their own half after getting a warning from referee, getting yellow cards. So not really anything cynical there. So yeah, overall, that's pretty much what happened. So yeah, let's quickly go through some of the key points on the game. So they, right from the start, you know this is going to be a bit of a rough game with the wet conditions. And 5 minutes into the game, there was basically an opportunity for Wales to kick for 3 points. There was just 40 meters out, but Wales right away decided to test the Springbok defense. So they actually went for a line out, but they were not able to not able to build that line out into a try. Eventually, Reece Zamet actually almost went into the corner, but he was not able to. He was, he wasn't able to. He was actually just got stopped, and then the Springboks got penalized for offside. So Wales gets the first 3 points on the board after testing the Springboks defense. 3 points to nil to Wales. So then after that, the almost right from the kickoff, Wales gets caught offside, and Pollard returns the favor with his 3 points. So 3 points all, just 11 minutes into the game or so. 2 minutes later, Wales seems to be a little bit better under the high ball, and especially what do you call it? Yeah, especially in the first half of the game, they kind of start falling off a bit in the second half, but especially in the first, seems to be a little bit on the high ball. And Wales earned himself another penalty on the 13th minute, where the the Springboks will penalize again in the kicking range, and this was right in front again. So Bigger slots a second penalty if the Wales pulls ahead 6 points to 3. On the 16th minute, so 3 minutes later from this penalty kick, the first scrum happened, and Springboks just absolutely dominated the scrum. So they basically take the scrum penalty. So they have a huge scrum penalty, and then there was also an offside following the scrum. So the Springboks goes back for the offside, which was in better kicking position. Anyway, so Springboks gets another 3 points back, 6 points to 6, 60 minutes into the game, right? On the 5 minutes later, on the 21st minute, there was another kickable penalty for the Springboks. Instead of going for the kicking, this was like 40 meters out, I think, but it's still kickable for 100 Pola. They decide to go for a 5-meter line out. So Springboks goes for line, and I think they have like that, the trust on that more to work, but it just didn't work, didn't pay off here. So luckily there was another penalty for the Springboks. They go for a second attempt at a 5-meter line out. Instead of kicking for a goal, they got another, so there was a bit of infringement in line out, I think, for bringing the line out down early. So there was another line out set up for the Springboks, and that was stopped again. So it's by the Wales, and then Wales, really, really good defense, was able to turn the ball over. So Springboks were not able to score. So there was just huge defensive effort from Wales throughout the entire game. Like monstrous effort from the Welsh forwards. So finally, a few more minutes later, on the 26th minute, Wales were back on the front foot. Springboks gets penalised for not releasing the tackler in the breakdown. So Wales gets another penalty, kicks this one, 9 points to 6. Okay, and the following this kick, this 3 point, there was some really poor kicking by Herschel Yangshi's, just box kicks that was just like going straight out on the full, and it was just and there was one box kick was straight up in the air, literally didn't go anywhere. It was just some of these box kicks from Yankees was not very good. And then on the 30th minute, it looks like the Springboks are losing the structure, losing the cool a little bit. Things are getting quite heated. So they Ox Inch looked like he went for a high tackle, and the whole crowd went ooh. And then there was another infringement where Wales tried to do a chip over the top, and Herschel Oxen Inch just like stepped in front of the Welsh chaser and took him out. I think it was Jonathan Davies he took out. So anyway, so the referee had a look. The seemingly high tackle was not a high tackle. He was going for the ball. The ball was like caught up here for the Welsh player, so he was going for the ball, so there was no penalty there. But the referee did say that he stepped out of his line to take out the ball chaser from the Welsh team, so that was a penalty. And then the referee says, okay, well, I've warned you. Before this, the referee has given a warning to the Springboks for repeated penalties. So the referee goes, that's too many penalties, yellow card. So it wasn't really something that's crazy bad, but it was just too many penalties stacking up, and referee giving a yellow card. At this point, Wales also had a warning for giving away too many penalties, and that actually comes into play in a few minutes. So Bigger slots this penalty in, 12 points to 6. Wales are ahead by 6 points. And 5 minutes later, the Springboks on the front foot, just inside the Welsh half, they set up a line out for a maul, and one of the Welsh players, the prop number 1, enters the maul from an angle. Referee penalizes him, and as you know, the referee can't have to go back by his word. He just gave a yellow card to South Africa for repeated penalties. Wales is now considering it's also infringing on repeated penalties, and I think the captain Sia Khaleesi was like telling the referee that should be a yellow card too, and the referee's like, yeah, okay. Kind of like reluctantly also giving a yellow card to Wales, because really this is not really like that bad of a, like, this is pretty technical like penalty, but still he had he did give a warning to Wales as well. So penalty to Wales as well. So now 14 players against 14 players. South Africa feeling the advantage, kicks the ball out for a 7-meter line out, and the maul didn't go well. Wales held, did not concede any a try here. So finally on the last minute of the game, the Springboks goes for one final roll of the dice. Did not able to get anywhere, but was able to earn a penalty right in front. Not right in front. Earned the penalty near the sideline. So this was a bit of a difficult kick from the sideline, 40 meters out, about just coming in from the sideline a little bit. But 100 Pollard says he can do it. Pops this one through. That's quite just. This is already halftime. I'm too far to kind of like push for a try again. So Pollard pops this one through. Halftime score 12 points to 9. And it was pretty even overall in the score and in all stats. 7 penalties to Wales, 9 to South Africa. So only a slight advantage over the penalties, where the difference in score is for the Welsh. Second half stuff, literally, this is where I almost bloody cried. There was a penalty. So basically, the fact that the Wales received the yellow card a little bit later meant that the Springboks had like an extra man advantage for about 2-3 minutes in the second half. And I kid you not, the Springboks had a penalty. They kicked the ball out for a 22 line out, not going anywhere. Ball comes out to Hunter Pollard. He crossfield kicked this straight into a Welsh player. And I literally wanted to cry because I could not. I was like, yep, this is how you lose the test match with stupid kicking like that. I literally wasn't want to cry because it was just so stupid. And it was just again and again and again. He seems to be doing this, Hunter Pollard. So anyway, yeah, that's just my opinion. So anyway, a few minutes later, on the 49th minute, finally the Springboks were able to build some pressure. They were 10 meters out from the Wales line. They were building phases, built like 10, 11 phases. And then David Delende gets the ball, he runs and gets stripped. And Wales hold again. So yeah, really, really good. And it was Ellis Jenkins gets the strip off the Welsh player. And that was a pretty good play. And following the strip, Wales were kind of like back on the front foot in the attack. Got inside the Springboks half, gets another penalty right away. And this was a pretty far kick, 43 meters out. And Bigger slots this one in. Puts Wales 15 points tonight ahead over the Springboks. So, again, following this, you're like, Springboks need to get better. Things only got worse from this point going forward. Herschel Yanshis did again, terrible box kicks from him, just literally went straight up. And I was literally like, I was giving up at this point. I was like, I don't see how you can win the test match doing absolutely awful kicks like that again and again and again. You might as well not play, right? Luckily, the Springboks reserve starting to come on this point. Things are starting to turn around a little bit. So 53 minutes, there was a penalty. So Francois Stein as well was doing really, really good. Getting those long balls, and they were just running and carving through the Welsh defense. And then Yankees gets the ball, kicks it away, right? Like, it's just... Anyway, so on the 53rd minute, there was a huge penalty, 54 meters out. Francois Stein says, I'll take a kick. And you can see it on his face. He's pretty confident. And he pops the ball. It's like watching one of those beautiful like golf swings. Like you can hear the sound of the ball just pop. Like, boom, right? Pops it, 55 meters. The ball just sails through straight down the middle of the goal. And then it was just like a magnificent kick from Stein. It was raining as well, wet and rainy. So he gets the Springboks back within 3, 15 points to 12 for Wales. He was just like, yeah, I have written here, Stein was my man. on the 57th minute, there was a huge scrum for the Springboks, another penalty inside the 50. And I thought the Springboks would go for a kick here, but maybe a France was time, but they decided to go for a line out. They thought the angle was maybe too much issue. They decided to go for a line out. Sure enough, the line out didn't go anywhere, but they did able to come back out, and the Springboks was running forward, and it was one of the Springboks player was one of the Welsh players tried to hold the Springbok player up, but the Springboks player had his knee on the ground, so the referee was like calling, let him go, and Wales did not, maybe because of the rain, maybe because the crowd could not hear him, kept on holding onto him, penalty right in front, and Pollard kicked this one, 15 points or with about 15 points more with about 20 minutes left. So game is starting to get really, really tight. So 3 minutes later, the Wales starting putting on the reserves as well, and basically a few minutes later, Wales starting to put a lot of pressure onto the Springboks. The crowd started getting into it, and the Wales is just like getting close to try line. They had a penalty. I think the penalty come in for basically they had a penalty advantage for Wales. So Wales this was just inside this Springboks 22. Wales decided to spread the ball out wide. This is where Liam Williams had open space in front of him. Maybe one defender he had to beat, but he probably could just just commit it and go for the line. If he had, he was pretty probably 10-15 meters out. One of the Welsh supporter runs onto the field. He gets tackled. Liam Williams was gets the ball and he had to step around the guy on the ground, had to avoid the guy being tackled on the ground, and that really stifled his run. So he wasn't able to get himself in a full speed to bowl for the try line. So he gets kind of caught, pushed out, and he was so angry. And there was a huge boo around the stadium. This idiot may have ruined Wales' opportunity for a try right there. So yeah, luckily they did have a penalty advantage, so they go back for the penalty. 18 points to 15. Wales pulls back ahead. So a few minutes later, there was a high ball from Cobus Reinach at halfway point. It looked like a really poor kick, and I was like, another Herschel Yangshi's kick. It was pretty bad. It was straight up, come pretty much straight down. But the Welsh player tried to pad the ball back to his own half. But he padded backwards. There was no one there. And even Isabeth was there. Gets the ball, finds some space behind the Welsh defense. And then as he's getting covered, he throws the ball in field to Makazolo Mapimpi. Goes in similarly for a try. Referee watches the replay. Deems Isabeth offside. Because the ball from Reinhardt kicked, it was just so shallow. It didn't go anywhere. All the players from the Springboks team were just standing around nobody was onside. So luckily no try for Wales there. Got off the hook. 69th minute, Wales got penalised again for the scrum. Massive dominant scrum for Springboks, getting them out of jail again and again and again. So on the 72nd minute, the Springboks gets on another 10-meter more, 10-meter line out for a rolling maul. Finally, this time the rolling maul worked. Split the Welsh defense half into halves, and the back end of the Springbok maul rolls, crashes, pummels through the Welsh defense, and Malcolm Marks at the back of the receiving of the maul, holding the ball, plants the ball down for an easy first try for the Springboks. Finally gets ahead, 18 points to 20. And Herschel Yangshi's really needed to convert this one, but he was not able to from the sideline. And then, so it looks like Wales still has a chance to win the game with that penalty missed. So a few minutes later, on 76th minute, so on the 76th minute, the Wales got penalized again. So from this point, basically from this point onward, the Springboks were able to do really well with the kicking game, pinning Wales inside their own half. So Wales was really struggling to get out of their own half. Eventually, the Springboks did able to manage the game to get another penalty. And this time, you thought for sure, this was 76th minute, you thought for sure the Springboks would go for a kick. But no, Springboks opted for a for another more. This was like 22 meters out, kickable, easily kickable, but it was on a bit of on an angle, so they didn't want to risk that, so they go for a more for another shot at a try. So the Springboks sets them all up, gets stopped by the Welsh defense. So another huge defense by Wales. The dream is not over. Still has one last chance at a returning retaliation. So Wales kicks the ball out for a line out on the 79th minute, and this was just like inside their own half, 40 minutes out. They have a minute to work their way in for they don't even need a try. They just need a penalty inside a kickable range to win the game, because they were only still 2 points behind, 18 points to 20. But the South African defense really turned up the heat in the last minute. Just rush defense, and Wales started on their 40-meter line, ended up just outside their own 22, and then Steven Kitov, the big loose head, red-headed prop, gets the turnover at the breakdown, 22 meters out right in front on the 80th minute, and Herschel Yanshi says, "Thank you very much, we will take the 3 and end the game." And the Springboks closes that one out with the final 3-pointer, 18 points to 23. Woo! That was a close game. Very, very entertaining. And yeah, I never thought I was going to cry watching rugby, because it was just so frustrating. Like, it was just like the worst feeling when you see Handré Pollard do one of these stupid kicks and he just wanted to punch something, and like you're realizing there's nothing you can do but to just accept that Handré Pollard is just being stupid. And then yeah, I was literally I literally felt like I was gonna cry. I felt so hopeless. I wanted to cry. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this game, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys a little bit later today for more reviews. Cheers.